Welcome, denizens of the internet. We are Grin and Barrett.
I'm AC, and I am drinking a sparkling lemonade thing with a shot of vodka and ta-da, a piece of king cake.
Oh.
It would have been so horrible if it slid off the plate.
I know. That thing is glued on with massive amounts of sugar. There is half to that.
I was going to say that. I was like, don't worry, it won't. It's too moist.
No, it is back to that plate.
Sorry for using the word moist. I'm Knuckles. I'm drinking water, but I'm going to be taking shots of Fireball whiskey because that's what you do during Mardi Gras.
Good. Way to hydrate. Way to hydrate.
Hydrate?
I'm Iris, and I'm drinking lemonade and vodka, as you do, out of a Mardi Gras cup that I picked up off the ground at one point in time.
I mean, that's where they come from. They grow there. I'm Alice, and I'm drinking from my fancy Mardi Gras cup, and I'm drinking a blackberry soda.
Ooh, nice.
So, as if you probably couldn't tell, we are discussing Mardi Gras this episode because we are right in the beginning of the season when we're filming this. So, yeah, we're going to be talking about it. Each of us has a different experience with it because we've all grown up in different places. So we've all experienced it in different ways. And also, super quick, I wanted to say something because it made me laugh. So Iris held up a Mardi Gras cup. So during parades, that's very common. It's a very common throw is to get these plastic cups with like the parade info on it, like the parade name and whatever the theme is for the parade that year. And she's right. She probably did pick it up off the ground because that's where they always end up because you cannot catch them.
No, they go flying, and then they disappear, and then you're like, okay, cup.
Yeah, so another like little tidbit about that is in New Orleans, we call Mardi Gras cups, it's called New Orleans China because everyone who lives in New Orleans has a bunch of those in their cabinet. So that was just a really quick tidbit. So what is Mardi Gras, you might ask? I don't know if you asked that, but if you're wondering, it's, well, it's a lot of things. What it's not is Shrove Tuesday.
It's not Pancake Day. That's what it's not.
I have
We have no clue what that is. We just discovered that today.
I'm just incensed by it. As a lifelong New Orleanian, I'm like, excuse me? What is that? So Mardi Gras is generally we call it here Fat Tuesday. I know that's not very...
I mean, it's a very literal translation of Mardi Gras.
Yeah, it's just Fat Tuesday. And it always occurs the day before Ash Wednesday. And in Catholicism, Ash Wednesday is when you... feel free to correct me, ladies, because I haven't been Catholic in a really long time.
I was never Catholic, so...
Oh, yeah, but some people know more than people, But essentially, if you see someone walking around with, I'm not kidding, an ash cross on their forehead, that's where they got it. It's on Ash Wednesday. So the way Mardi Gras is determined, it's in relation to when Easter is. So sometimes you have an early Mardi Gras, sometimes you have a late Mardi Gras. In New Orleans, Mardi Gras starts on 12th night. Is that correct, guys?
Yes, the 6th.
Okay. So it's like January 6th no matter what, right?
It's because that's the King's Day. Yeah.
So
that's the Carnival starts.
Yeah. So the tradition is you do not eat king cake before King's Day. It's funny because, again, I grew up in Metairie, which is outside of New Orleans, 15 minutes outside of New Orleans, and I've been going to Mardi Gras parades as a kid, since I was born, basically. And I've never ever heard of it being bad luck to eat king cake before the 6th, before King's Day. I'm not kidding. I was like just recently I was talking to my mom about it because they had bought a king cake from Rouse's, the grocery store down here, and she was eating it, and I was like, Mom, no, it's not King's Day yet. You gotta wait like 2 days. And she's like, too late. I was just like, I was like, no, you're gonna have bad luck for the year. And she goes, I've never heard of that. And she's from here, so
I never heard of that until recently either.
Yeah, same. Like the last few years.
Yeah.
You know what I think it is, y'all? I think, and no hate to the transplants, love them, have dated many of them because that's how this works. You know, people from out of town when they move down here. But I think it started with them. They just started being like, just making stuff up, and it's like, okay.
I mean, maybe they just noticed that they can't buy it before a certain date, and they're like, oh, it must be bad luck.
Oh,
everything's a superstition.
Here's another thing. Okay, since we're talking about king cake. So you have to be careful if you're not from here and you take a bite in king cake because there can be objects in your king cake. Okay, so different places will do different things, but the tradition is usually a baby. But then some places put in a coin and some put in like clown heads. Someone found a clown head and they were wearing it on their
I think someone didn't have a baby handy and they improvised.
No, she said no. She said there was a coin in it, and then there was a baby, and then there was a clown head. I don't remember what.
Maybe they have different marching orders depending on what you get. Because I know the baby, you're supposed to supply the king cake next year.
Right, because you're the king. Like the tradition is that you're the king. Because I remember looking this up last year. So supposedly the whole point of the king cake was you were presenting it to the king. And you were royalty for a day. And then that, after many years, that changed into, like, many, many years later, you have to bring the cake.
They're like,
I'm probably butchering the crap out of that, but you have Google, so you can go look it up, which is what I did. What?
Now it's just breakfast.
Yeah. But, which I still have yet to get the baby. My significant other keeps buying king cake because he keeps getting the baby, and I'm like, you don't need to do that. He goes, no, I want to.
Just lie. Do you want to know how many times I've gotten the baby at like from office king cakes? Like 80 times. Have I ever fessed up to it? No. I don't get paid enough to go stand in line at Randazzo's or freaking Don Fong and go get a freaking king cake at 6 in the morning.
Or you go to cut it with the knife that has to stay in the king cake box, and you feel it in there, like you feel the knife getting.
That is a rule. Do not take the knife out of the king cake box. That is a rule, and you're not allowed to do it. My boyfriend, we brought one over to go visit my family, and he like told them not to, and somebody put it in the sink. And he's like, you're not supposed to take it.
The knife stays in the box.
It just saves so much time.
Well, also, I'm from Lafayette. King cake wasn't a big deal. I never really liked it. I don't know if we just didn't have good bakeries then. Until I moved here and got to try it, I fell in love with it. Because I always thought king cake was a glorified cinnamon roll. I'm sorry, I know that's terrible, but from Lafayette, it is.
You're right.
Cinnamon roll, but softer and flakier with tons of icing on top. And it's thinner, so it's like, and it's squishy.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good.
While we're on the subject, we'll give our recommendations. So if anybody's looking, like you've got your regular ones, Randazzo's king cake, Haydel's is good. Dongfang in where's Dongfang? Are they in the east or are they on the west bank?
They're in the east.
I thought they were the east. Yeah,
I couldn't remember. It's been so long. But those are some recommendations. And like
Alice, do y'all have any in Alabama?
Yeah.
We've got a few, but I never buy the king cake, so I don't remember their names. The only one that I really adore, and I know it's kind of sacrilegious, it's Sugar Rush. They're a donut shop here that is absolutely amazing. Like, I don't even like donuts most of the time, and I will eat anything from there. And they make a king cake that is made with donut dough. and it is amazing, and I will eat the whole confection.
Oh my god, I want
And they have donut-sized versions of it, so if you don't want the entire king cake, you can get just a donut of it. And it has, like, the icing, and then the colored sprinkles, and then it has just the baby sitting on top of the center of the icing, so each donut has a baby, because you're buying it for yourself. So you can get those and just get the taste of it if you want just for yourself, or you can buy the whole cake to serve. Usually, what we do is we have a friend that has a house downtown that's in the middle of all the parade routes, and we sort of set a base camp there, and then walk to whatever parade we want to. So we'll have one donut cake and then one regular cake every day from the various different bakeries.
Yeah.
And I eat that donut cake like crazy. Like, oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
That's not sacrilegious. That's just delicious.
I mean, it's not traditional king cake, and so you have to have both. You cannot serve just the donut cake. You have to have both.
Can you tell us how it's different than New Orleans?
All right. So I mean, just to get it out of the way, we had it first.
Wait, okay.
We have a Mardi Gras museum that will go in depth on how we had it first. It's actually, like, if you go down Government towards the tunnel, it's very obvious it's on the right. It's got two of these little jester guys standing out front with the pig bladders, which you can see over here. I don't know if you guys do pig bladders.
What the?
Pig
No.
bladders.
What do you mean pig bladder?
I have no clue what a pig bladder is.
It's very literal. It is the bladder of a pig. Like, it's a
drink
pig
out of it?
bladder. Like, so you see them
What do you-
here, like, they're bunched up over here and they're silver. You see
Oh my-
them? Like,
yeah.
the texture there? So they're kind of like balloons, but they don't float. They're inflated and they're painted silver, and you beat everything with them. Like, you just hit everything. And then once he's beaten the crap out of the pig bladder, he throws it out to the crowd. But they're pig bladders. That's just.
Are they real?
Yes, they're actual, literal pig bladders. They are the bladder of a pig that has been painted silver and tied up like a balloon, and you beat things with it.
I understand what pig bladder, but why pig bladder?
Yeah.
I know the tradition. I don't know the reason. I just know
is
they're pig bladders.
I'm very confused. So is it a Mardi Gras throw? Like, do they give that out to people?
Like, they're supposed to, like, hit them. Like, you hit them to make noise, and then, like, once they burst, they throw them to the crowd.
Okay,
What?
so does your city not have rules on
I didn't
animal
intend
parts?
to talk about the pig bladders.
No, it's fine. I'm just very curious. Does your city not have rules on animal parts? Because our city, for throws, you are not allowed to throw any type of animals. Like we have a rule. It's like in our thing, like you can't throw animal parts. I don't know why. Somebody probably threw something live, and that's why we have this rule.
I mean,
I just
we have rules
throwing a
about
hamster.
throws, but we're allowed to throw, like, food and animal parts. Like, I mean, I think it's just the pig bladders. Like, there's no,
Okay.
like...
I'm sorry. I just thought that was really
But
funny.
yeah,
'cause
no,
that is a
it's a
rule. We're not
traditional
allowed-
item, and they are exempt.
What else are y'all known for in Alabama for Mardi Gras? There you go. That was a good segue.
Well, it's not for Mardi Gras, but we're big into moon pies, so we, for New Year's, we have the moon pie drop. Like, it's kind of like the ball dropping in New York. We have a giant moon pie that's attached to a building that drops at midnight.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's cool.
I like that way. Is it a real
I don't
pie
know
or
if
like a
it's
statue?
a Mobile thing, but we have the Bubba Likes Moon Pie song.
That's a Mobile thing.
Like, it's Bubba Likes Moon Pies, Moon Pies, Moon Pies, Bubba Like a Moon Pie. Last year, Mardi Gras, 855. Some people say that's awful lot, but I just told them, hey, no, it's not. Like, it's just a thing.
That's fantastic. Okay. So I'm glad we're talking about this because Mobile and New Orleans are so different with their celebrations. This is all news to me. I've never heard of any of this.
I mean, we don't get tourists, so it's not really for public consumption, so I guess we just get to be weird.
So New Orleans, I think we already. I don't know if we explain the actual days for Mardi Gras, and then we can jump back to Alabama. But so you have Lundi Gras, which is on the Monday, and then you have Fat Tuesday, which is the day before Lent. But as we also found out that other people in other areas call it Shove Day,
Shrove Tuesday.
Shrove Day.
Joe
Pancake
Tuesday or
Day.
something, and you eat pancakes. I don't know. Somebody If you know anything about this, put this in the comments and let us know, because we don't know. We just thought this was weird.
Please.
But in Alabama, where Alice is from, they do something on the Sunday before Mardi Gras.
Joe Kane Day.
Okay. So
So
tell us a little bit of that, because we don't know.
So historically, the story goes that after the Civil War, we were not celebrating Mardi Gras, and Joe Kane brought it back to Mobile. He dressed up in a costume and walked around and paraded and got arrested, I believe. But the main thing for Joe Kane Day is the parade starts at his grave, and it goes around basically downtown, and then the end is at his house, which I actually got to celebrate Joe Kane Day in his house one year, which was great. It's actually like a contractual thing. If you buy the house, you have to allow Joe Kane Day to take place in your home. Like, if you don't, I mean, technically you don't have to, but it's not gonna go well for you. But yeah, so the main thing is the Merry Widows of Joe Kane, which, from what is said, when he passed away, several women came forward as his widow. And they all believed that they were his only wife.
Oh.
And so they all have their own little names, and like you cannot see their face. Like they have a veil and then a veil over the veil, and they're all dressed in black lace, and some of them will actually have amplifiers under the veil because they boo-hoo. Like they start at his grave to pay their respects to their long lost husband, and then they do the parade, and it's, oh, my poor husband, oh Joe, oh no, and they throw black roses and black beads because they're in mourning. And then there's another group that's the mistresses of Joe Kane, and they're in red, and they party. But yeah, so I mean, it's actually not a very far parade route. It's also called the People's Parade because we have very regimented rules about crews here, and like you also have like mystic societies, and they have different rules for each.
Yeah.
I think in New Orleans it's just like alternate names, but here it's like a very precise thing, whether it's a crew or a mystic society. Primarily the difference is mystics, you don't know the members. You're not allowed to say that you're a member. You can't talk about it. Whereas crews, anybody can really join, and you can talk about it, and it's okay if people know who you are.
Okay.
All of our parades are downtown in the city of Mobile, so they're all in the same area, but you'll have several parades on the same day, like one after the other on Parade Route A.
Okay.
The house that we hang out at is kind of at the nexus of all of them. Like there's it's kind of demolished, like when we had the hurricanes year before last. Like you see this tree in the background. We have a park that is just all of these old live oaks that are like centuries old, and most of them got trashed by the hurricane. Because we have a lot of live oaks downtown. Like we have one that has like a historical placard because the sucker's like 400 years old.
That's like New Orleans too. That's something we have in common.
Mm-hmm.
They're the live oaks because we have a bunch on St. Charles.
But yeah, like if the parade is happening in the city of Mobile, it's on one of the like 5 set parade routes downtown. Now we do have other cities nearby that have their own parades. Like we have Fairhope has a parade, Gulf Shores has a parade. Growing up, because I was on the other side of the bay, I usually went to the Gulf Shores parade, which is nothing like the ones in Mobile. It's beach people. Beach people party different.
Question for you, because I want to see if this is different. What are the throws like in Mobile? Are they similar to New Orleans? Like, do you have cups and doubloons and beads?
I have doubloons. This isn't even my entire collection. It's just what I had, like literally right next to me.
I have
probably 20 of them here, and these I prefer the metal ones. Like they started using plastic, and I don't like the plastic ones. But,
yeah.
I think this is plastic, the ones I have. No, they're metal.
Although I like this one just because it has
Yeah,
like the
pretty much.
scalloped edge.
So, do y'all call them doubloons too, or just Mardi Gras coins? Because we call them doubloons.
We do call them doubloons. Like it's not an unheard of name for them, but most of us just say coins.
Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Like,
We say doubloon.
I say doubloons. Yeah. someone in my family has this, but she would collect doubloons from the Rex parade. So, quick explanation about Rex. So on Mardi Gras Day, on that Tuesday, in Uptown, you have Zulu rides first, and then you have Rex. And Rex is, whoever is the king of Rex is like the king of Mardi Gras. So it's an old school parade. And my grandma collected doubloons from Rex, and she has it in a binder. One of my uncles, I think, or aunts has it. But it's really interesting, the history of them too, or like just how they kind of, what you collect, because like they're so sought after. People freaking lose their minds. And in parades, like the riders on the floats or on horseback, if they're riding horseback, sometimes they just like take a whole handful and then just shower. Like, it's so much fun. You have to be careful though, you can get hit in the face.
Yeah, I always wear a hat to the parade. I always wear a hat because somebody always,
Yeah.
I either get a drink spilled on me or I get something knocked in my head. The great thing about Rex is that each float has a medallion. And once I figured that out, a friend of mine, so people, there's also a rule, you're not supposed to pick up trash. Like, some people don't pick up, once something hits the floor on Mardi Gras Day, you don't pick it up. But we had sanitizer and stuff, so we were like looking for the medallions, and when we found one, we pick it up, wash our hands, and go on to the next.
If you weren't allowed to pick up stuff off the ground, I would not have gotten anything because I'm not from where so where I'm from, there is no Mardi Gras, really. So like I don't have the years of experience of catching things. So like I'm a ground scrounger. I'm like sitting here trying to catch things and I don't. So I get it off the ground.
Oh, shame.
That's a good point, Iris. What do you know of, before you came to us, what was your opinion of Mardi Gras before you came? Because you're from up north. So what was your opinion of?
Well, my stepmother is from Michigan, around the Detroit area. So the only way that we ever celebrated Mardi Gras was to eat punchkis, which are basically fancy donuts that are filled with things. They're huge. They're like this big. They're like as big as your face. But other than pigging out on those, we didn't do anything. We weren't Catholic. Hello, cat. Everyone, at least that I have been around, opinion of New Orleans and Mardi Gras is that it is a super sexual thing. Not okay for kids. Like, very, like, you're going to have boobs everywhere. Like, people's opinion of New Orleans in general is that if you walk down the street, basically anywhere, and you throw your boobs out, your beads are going to materialize at any point in time during the year. So that is not my experience of New Orleans, having lived there for 5 years. As a matter of fact, when I first moved there, I missed my first couple of Mardi Gras because I was like, I ain't going out there. Not doing it, because I just stayed in my house. And I actually had the crew of Oak lined up behind my house, which was like the worst crew to like make my opinion be solidified.
Yeah, they're all smoking and getting high off helium balloons, because I walked with them one year. Not the best.
Right.
Weirdest parade.
That they solidified my idea of Mardi Gras as a non-kid friendly situation. But you can bring your kids to Mardi Gras, bring them to the mid-city parades, or the Garden District parades. Yeah.
Minor segue on that front. I dated a Texan, and it was right around Mardi Gras. So I was like, hey, why don't we catch a parade for a date? And he's just like, I didn't know you were that kind of girl. I'm like, what kind of girl?
Yeah, like, what do you mean?
Local? I'm like, sir, I have enough beads. My chest is staying covered. Like,
it's such an unfortunate stereotype, because like, and people honestly think that, and I'm like, I grew up in Metairie, but my family would rent an apartment on St. Charles, like I think a few blocks down from Napoleon, which is where most of the Uptown parades start, ish. And since I was a baby till I was about like 18 or 19, like my family and a few other families would go in on renting this place, and they would, like, we would be there Saturday, Sunday, like right before Mardi Gras. So it'd be Saturday, Sunday. We would go there Lundi Gras, and we would be there for Mardi Gras. And we would just like, it's extremely kid friendly because they throw stuff. Like you get, it's anything you can imagine. Like not just beads or, you know, the cups and the doubloons, but like tons of stuff. Spears. That was a sought after item when I was a kid. Like plastic spears, you know. Also, well, I'll get into that. So, but like I've been going to Mardi Gras since I was born. Okay. And like, it's funny, Iris, because my brother was a street scrounger. He would always stay on the ground and would grab stuff, and his haul was always better than mine. But like I stayed in the ladder. So to explain to people at home.
Yeah, explain the ladder.
So
because that's a new thing to me. I've never saw the ladder until I came here.
Dude, I grew up on the ladder.
We didn't have ladders.
Really? Guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so explain what you mean by the ladder and the basket and the wheels, all that jazz.
Yeah. Okay, so basically what families do is because children are short, fact. So instead of constantly having your kids on your shoulders and just like wrecking your back, they would modify. So you have a regular, like usually a wooden ladder, but you can use any ladder. And they have little modified, little seats, like little wooden seats, and you can, you know, trick it out with like carpet, whatever. And they and this is all, you don't really, I don't think you can buy these, right? Like everyone.
No, people make them.
No.
I think people now may have a business out of them.
Yeah.
But everybody would just trick it because there's wooden ones. Everybody would just do, it was what Dad's made.
Like, let me just tell you, it boggles my mind that this was not, like, I realize now as an adult, I'm like, I had a very different childhood from many people.
Yeah.
Like, so the ladder thing, it's really big. It's like, okay, mostly adults stay on the ground. But for ladders, you would line them up along the curb. And there's just, as far as the eye can see, like there's a ton of them. And you put your kid in the ladder. There's usually like a little bar. Not usually, there's always a little bar so they can't just topple over. And I would go up in that ladder after eating breakfast and sit my butt there the entire day, like through all of the day parades. And then my mom would be like, you want to come down to eat dinner? You know, Bacchus isn't for another 3 hours. And I was like, no, I'm good. And I would sit my dumb little butt up there and use the beads that I caught and make tiny bead dogs and then throw them in the back of people's trucks. I'm not kidding. I did the weirdest shit as a kid. So, but yeah, we would spend hours and hours and hours out there, and usually on the ladder, a parent would be behind you to make sure you don't die.
And I have to say, in my experience, people are very respectful of the ladders. Like, they don't mess up, they don't get in the ladder's way. They're very, how you would think in a typical parade, people are crowding to get the best spot. But when there's a ladder, they let all the family be around the ladder and nobody bothers anybody. People can be very respectful.
Yeah, you find more people that are, you know what it is too, dude? Like, mostly and we do get a lot of tourists, don't get me wrong, but a lot of tourists, they see how locals are acting and they just act that way. You have some, and you also have locals that act a fool too, but it's not, I feel like people just kind of, it's an unspoken rule. So I guess my point is, if you see a ladder on a parade route, that's a kid-friendly parade. There's a child in there. There's no other reason for that ladder. So it's kind of an easy way to be like, okay, it dispels the myths of Mardi Gras being sleazy and stuff. And you do have that sometimes, but it's not nearly as prevalent as people think. You know, it's not at all.
So here's what I find living here 15 plus years. So you have St. Charles, which is St. Charles area, and that's the Garden District, what we refer to. We have different names for the city, and some people are like, what? So that's uptown area. That is family friendly usually. So if you get to Lee Circle, by Canal and all that, huh?
Formerly Lee Circle. It's not Lee Circle.
Yeah, what is it now?
I don't know if they've decided yet.
Okay, so the street that will have a name at some point. Huh?
Yes.
The circle formerly known as
I say former Lee Circle.
Okay.
Ah.
So former Lee Circle. So that area and Canal, and then also Bourbon Street, that's where people, because that's where most of the tourists go. So that's usually where you see, if you're going to see boobies, that's where you see.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remembered another difference.
Hmm.
We're not allowed to drink in public.
All right.
Oh, gross.
I forgot.
Oh yeah, we have a rule. Yeah.
Alice, I
Yeah.
hate to tell you this. That automatically disqualifies Mobile. We win.
They have been making some changes. There's certain streets you're allowed to drink on in
Yeah,
public.
Sorry,
But-
babe.
Yeah, you're not. Because, like, my first Mardi Gras in New Orleans, I'm just sitting there drinking, and, like, there's cops right there. I'm just like, you're sure this is legal? You're sure this is okay?
Yeah,
Like,
have,
I'm
as long
okay.
as it's not glass, you can. Yeah, you
As
can
long as
drink.
it's not glass.
But, yeah, like, I
Well-
was just staring those cops down. I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, they said it's okay.
As the cop comes over, fist bumps you, and is like, "What you drinking? Hey."
I have a funny story. 2020. Okay, 2024. It was a Friday night parade. So whatever Mardi Gras weekend, I don't remember what parades there were. It was 2 or 3 parades, and it was at night, and we were in between one of the parades, and where I was hanging out with everybody, and there was these kids who came from like Mississippi and brought a keg. It was like 10 guys, and the cops set up by them just to make sure they weren't doing anything stupid. But they were doing kickstands. Like, am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Kickstand.
So the cops were counting it, like making sure they were counting. And it was, you had 3 cops, and it was just hilarious. And so we got film of it. Like, friends got photos, and because I was like, only in New Orleans did you have the cops help you.
I'm
Oh, yeah,
not
you were there.
necessarily a fan of cops all the time. I was there. It was really fun. But I'm not necessarily a fan of cops all the time. But Mardi Gras cops are generally so chill. They're there to party too. They're like watching the parade. They're like, "Hey man, what's up?"
Yeah,
They're there to basically make sure things are safe.
Question.
But
do,
they're not there to ruin the party either. So
do you guys have paddy wagons in the parade?
What's a paddy wagon?
Patty, what?
I'll take that as a no.
Well, hold on. Technically,
I don't know. I think we do, but I don't know what you mean.
yeah, but you don't actually use them.
Okay, we do.
Okay, explain to me, what is this contraption that y'all are referring
It's a carriage for people who are disorderly. The cops put them in the carriage and take them like all in mass to the police station.
No, we don't have that. That's
You
weird.
don't just like in the 1800s.
I mean,
the
yes.
paddy wagon. Gotta throw them in the paddy wagon. Get them after the
Okay,
parade.
I'm not gonna
generally,
lie.
Like, you have to do something really bad to get thrown in the paddy wagon, and a lot of the times, by the time you get to the station, they're just like, go. But, like, you have to be, like, really
Alabama is
disorderly or,
wild.
like, hop the fence to get in the parade.
Okay. So basically, it's just like, we're just going to have you chill in this wagon until the parade ends, and then we'll let you go.
It's a drunk tank, right?
A mobile drunk tank.
A mobile drunk
It's
tank.
timeout. They're in timeout.
Mhm.
So, piece of advice for our viewers: don't get arrested on a Friday of Mardi Gras because your butt is going to sit in that cell until Monday. Like,
Yeah.
that's actually just a general rule, but like, do not get arrested for anything on Friday, or like on Friday, because you're not going to get out because the cops are way too busy with Mardi Gras. And also, like, I don't think our viewers are particularly like they don't have a proclivity for, like, open carrying or anything. Don't flip and bring a gun to a parade. Just
Don't do that.
Don't.
All
It's
of
not
you
good.
don't.
Don't do that.
Like, that's the surefire way to get, like, targeted by cops, and then, like, they will watch you the entire time, and you will not have a good time. Don't bring a freaking gun to a parade. It's not a good idea.
Oh, another thing that they'll do, if you have to really tick a cop off for them to do it, but it's illegal to wear high heels in downtown. And if you tick off a cop and you're wearing heels, like if you're going to one of the balls and you're in formal wear, they'll be like, "Oh, look at you wearing them high heels."
Wait. Okay, I have a segue into that, but you can't wear high heels in Mobile downtown?
Yep.
It has
it's
something to do with
technically
their
illegal.
crates, right? Like with the...
Yeah, we have the metal grates downtown, and so the story, as I understand it, is a lady of the evening twisted her ankle, getting her heel stuck in one of the grates, and sued the city. So they made it illegal, so you can't sue the city if you twist your ankle, because technically what you were doing was already illegal. But if you manage to tick off a cop, they could be like, "Oh, I have a reason to arrest you or give you a ticket, or they like. I mean, they usually don't enforce it. Like, they just do it to mess with you, but it's on the books.
It just sounds more and more like the town from Footloose, dude. Like, what is going on in Mobile? You're killing me.
Mobile, Alabama is it's wild over there, Wild West.
That was a good segue though, because you mentioned balls, Mardi Gras balls. Let's talk about that because, so again, to explain, there's so many facets of Mardi Gras that if you're not from here or you don't spend a lot of time here, you don't know any of this stuff. Like, it's just not in public record. You know what I mean? It is, but like, you have to know what you're talking about, which is really interesting to me because it's a huge deal. Again, another facet of Mardi Gras, a lot of the big crews do Mardi Gras balls or extravaganzas, things like that. Essentially what it is you pay, depending on the parade, it could be, your ticket could be $100, your ticket could be $500. It just depends on the parade it is. And they will have at the end of the parade, depending, I think some balls happen other times too. Because some balls, if you go, you watch the entire court of the parade, come in and they're introduced, and then they introduce the king and queen, blah, 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 and then you have a dance. I've been to one of those before, and like I went with my friends because they were members of the crew of Toth, so we were able to, do that. That was fun. But not as fun as extravaganzas and like Mardi Gras balls. That's fun. So most of them are like BYO everything, like everything. But they take place usually at the convention center or the dome or the Superdome, depending on what crew it is. And basically what happens is you get all dolled up. I mean, like black tie, ball gown. You get dressed to the nines. You go there. You bring food in. You bring booze in, whatever you want to drink and eat. You have assigned seating. You go find your table, and then you wait. The parade itself will do its thing, and it comes into the convention center or the dome. Like, so you actually get to have a private parade. And by that point, so what's happening is, the reason I know this is because a couple of friends were in the crew of Orpheus, which rolls on Mardi Gras. So it's like the last parade before Fat Tuesday, I think. But it's a huge parade. It has gigantic floats. It's really cool. And it's always at the convention center. They come in and you line up against the barricades. And because it's the end of the parade, you are getting pounded with beads and just whatever else they have. They're like, here guys, like you will get so much stuff from it. So it's almost like if you want all that crap, like in that experience, it's worth the $100 ticket. Like, it's not a lot of money. It's like $100, $200. It's like, it's expensive, but it's freaking worth it. And I have a really good story. So I got to go, it's called Orpheus Capade. And with your ticket, they give you a special Orpheus doubloon that's this big. So
cool.
Yeah, so I have several of them. They're in my house somewhere. I'll find them. I'll show them on another podcast. But like, they're really, really big and cool, and it commemorates the year. It's like, whatever. And my ex's friend group, their parents were in the crew of Orpheus, and they were always able to get free tickets to Orpheus Capade because they would volunteer. So one year, I'm not kidding, my ex-husband and his friends, they were like, okay, what we're going to need you to do, we need you to pull the chariots in the beginning of the parade, but only when the parade gets to the convention center. You don't have to do it otherwise. But they had them in togas and they painted them gold. So so my ex, it was hilarious. Not like super gold, but like gold glitter. Like, it was great. So like, and afterwards they had to change into their tuxes, but a few of them were like, I'm not changing. I'm going to be in my toga all night. So yeah, they got to, and like, it's really cool. They always have like, after the parade is done, they line up all the really big, really cool floats, and you can just walk around and take pictures by them, like whatever. And then
that's cool.
It's great, dude. And you're already decked out in all of your beads and like your spears and your lightsabers, all that you that you grab, that you catch from these, like the end of the parade. And like a couple of my friends one time, they went off on their own little adventure, and they came back and they're like, we just met Lieutenant Dangle from freaking Reno 911, because in Mardi Gras parades they will get celebrity like grand marshals or kings and stuff. So like there's usually celebrities walking around. And really quick story about that, because it makes me laugh every time. one year, the friend who's the parents that were in crew of Orpheus, he got selected to be the handler for Nathan Fillion. Because Nathan
that's cool.
So he was on the float with Nathan Fillion, basically attending to his needs, like his girlfriend's or wife's needs the entire time. And he's like, yeah, he was super drunk and high. It was great. But during the parade, at some point, this really nice man had painted in acrylic a picture of him as Malcolm Reynolds from Firefly. And like, people do this at parades too. Like, if there's a celebrity they really like and they've created something, they'll try to get it to the celebrity. So this guy was able to get his painting to Nathan Fillion. Like, Nathan Fillion picked up and was like, this is so cool, thank you so much. And he handed it to my friend. Well, by the end of the parade, Nathan Fillion and his girlfriend or wife, I don't know who she was at the time, went off and left the painting with my friend. So he goes, I'm taking it. So my friend actually took it and brought it to our table and was like, hey, anybody who wants this can have it. Like, it's Nathan Fillion told me to just, like, I just took it. Like, he didn't want, whatever. So I feel bad because the painter had put his card in there. So, like, I know who it is and I'm not going to say who it is. But, so it was really sweet because, like, he got to give his painting. But I hate to break it to him. It did not end up with Nathan Fillion. It ended up with my friend group. So I ended up taking it home. And then I wrapped it up as the Dirty Santa gift that year. Yeah, so that was just like a few of my really, really fun stories about Orpheus Capade. Like, I went to it several times, and it's just really fun. Like, highly recommend going to one of the balls. Also, well, like, so my super quick another aside.
Jensen Ackles.
He was the king of Bacchus a few years ago. And my cousin's dad, he's one of the dukes, I think, that rides a horse in Bacchus. And so he's always able to get her tickets to the Bacchus ball or whatever. Well, this lucky little rat got a picture with freaking Jensen Ackles, and she sent it to me. She's like, hey, don't you like this guy? And I was like, I love you, but I hate you.
No clue who he is. No clue. No clue.
Jensen had a great time that year too. You could tell the entire time.
He still talks about it. He still right after he did Mardi Gras here, they had a con, and they gave everybody crowns at the convention to wear and beads because he was so excited that he did Mardi Gras, and he's like, and he talked about it 2 years later, and he's like, yeah, if you ever get to ride in a Mardi Gras float, you need to do it. It is worth it. He's like, well, I got the royal treatment because I was king, but you still need to do it. And I was like,
it is, yeah. If you ever get the chance, it's something to jump on.
Our Mardi Gras balls are way different.
Really?
I mean, not way different. Like, most of them take place in the convention center, but at a different time than the parade. Also, we have a camper city that springs up during Mardi Gras that they live under the overpass.
What?
So, like, most of the people that are in, like, multiple crews or, like, do a lot with Mardi Gras, they have RVs that they have explicitly for Mardi Gras, and they have a camper city that is downtown underneath the interstate overpass. There's usually, like, 40-something campers parked under there, and so they just stay downtown in their campers between parades.
That's cool, man. Like,
yeah, it's great, but... Yeah, like if you go like through the tunnel on I-10, like you'll see them right now.
So with what Knuckles was saying, not all our parades have balls right after. A lot of them do, like the big ones do. But like for example, King Arthur just had their ball, and their parade is usually the Sunday before Mardi Gras weekend.
Yeah.
So they'll be like the last weekend in February. So, but yeah, not everybody does it, but the bigger ones do.
All right, so everyone, remember to look below. We have links to our Facebook group, which you should totally join. You get more info here about our show and just extra content from us. And then also there is a link to our email in case you want to send us anything, any ideas for episodes or anything you want us to talk about, or if you just want to, talk to us, you can do it there. I also want to encourage you to put in the comments below if you have any Mardi Gras stories of your own, or if you have any sort of preconceived notion about what Mardi Gras is. Please stick it down there. We want to hear it, and we'd love to talk about it with you. But with that all said, like if you did, share if you think you should, and subscribe if you want to live. Just kidding. Thank you. We'll see you all later. Bye.